Hello, and welcome to Let's Play For Honor. This is episode Kensei. Here I am just going over a few of the customization options you can see for the Kensei. The Kensei is one of my favorite classes. I just find them really enjoyable. I find them both simple to play and very useful in most situations. The Kensei is the Vanguard class for the Samurai. Now, I was debating whether or not to do the Orochi or the Kensei first. The Orochi is in the story, mainly. But the Kensei is the Vanguard. And the Vanguard is the simpler one. Well, they are the simpler ones to learn and to teach. The Kensei has quite a few combos they can do. Their last attack in a chain, if it's an overhead strong attack, will end up being an unblockable attack. This can both be very useful and very dangerous, as it takes the time to wind up, and on top of that, if someone's wise to it, they can parry it pretty easily. That's why feinting with the Kensei can be pretty useful. The Kensei is also pretty good in team fights. With how wide their blade is, when you're swinging at one person, it's pretty easy to hit multiple people at once. The Kensei also has a lot of mixing up of light and heavy attacks. This can allow you to catch your opponent off guard and have dizzying combos that seem to come out of nowhere. You want them to keep guessing which way you're going to attack from and whether it's going to be a strong or a light attack, especially if they're going for a parry. They're not bad in Dominion either because of, as you just saw, the Kensei can do a really, really wide zone attack. And the light attacks of the Kensei are really fast. It's a class that just has a ton of versatility. Also, I apologize for my voice if it sounds a bit hoarse. I am sick, and actually recording these has taken a bit of a toll on my throat. But it's fun, so I do it anyway. The advanced tactics are pretty much more of the same. While the Raider was more of a disabler, the Kensei has a few guard break attacks. After a guard break as the Kensei, you can generally get a free light attack. That is how most classes function.
Lost Zone A.
Because of the length of the blade of the Nodachi that the Kensei wields, they're able to catch people off guard as they're dodging to the sides pretty easily. You do have to be careful when you're fighting alongside allies. It's easy for the Kensei to do a lot of friendly fire because of the length of the weapon. Now, the Kensei does not deal a ton of damage like the Raider does, but with all of the faster animations, they are easier at getting in the hits that are needed. I would say be a little bit careful with classes that are best really close. You want to continue to zone them out and keep them just out of their own reach from you. With your advantage from the length of your weapon, you can do this fairly easily. The light attacks of the Kensei actually have a bit longer of range than the strong attacks. You also have to be careful when attacking in confined places because of how large your weapon is. It's very easy for it to get caught on the environment. Against classes that dodge a lot, like the Shinobi, you'll rarely want to do overhand attacks. You almost exclusively are going to want to do side attacks.
You captured Zone C.
Something that Kensei lacks are attacks that bite into enemies, or attacks that grapple with your foe. They have the Unblockable, but when you're fighting against people that are a bit better at the game, Unblockables aren't too handy unless they're fast. And the Kensei Unblockable is quite slow. The Kensei also does not really have too many advantages from getting in parries. You don't have good counter hits. Instead, you want to be more of the aggressor. And a shame I died there. I was doing so well.
You captured Zone C. You lost Zone A.
Sometimes the connections in For Honor are pretty bad. Another example of a bad connection. It can really interrupt the flow of combat and can determine who is going to come out the victor in the end. Now, the overhand unblockable attack of the Kensei does track a bit, so if people duck or dodge too early, they can still get caught by it. Like that, for example.
You lost Zone A.
When someone revenges, you're going to want to wait just a little bit to see what they're going to be doing. You can't interrupt them right away, unlike normal. Because of that, you have to be extra careful. You want to try and get a parry in, because when someone's in revenge mode, they generally take less damage and deal more damage. And I couldn't resist doing that. Now, when you're low on health, you probably should avoid going into combat, but I kind of like to be a bit bold. Even if this teammate wasn't here, I would go in for this. As well, if you get the kill, you can get some health off of it. but it's generally not advised. Since the Kensei lacks mix-ups that are pretty common with hybrid classes, it can be very tricky when you're stuck right up against someone.
You captured zone C. Breaking.
And again, you should not go up against people when you're outnumbered. You can actually turn the odds in your favor. It's possible. Especially when there are edges nearby. And then, of course, you often end up getting your own comeuppance. The Centurion is a class that's very dangerous against the Kensei. Their mix-ups are just so powerful, and with how much the stamina the Kensei can end up using up, you can very quickly run out of stamina and end up in a precarious situation. And always remember, a plunging attack is a one-hit kill, no matter what. But you can also do it at heights that are not survivable, so be careful. I almost had them. I was so close. Most of them were down to very low health. If I had just gotten a few more parries, I think I could have killed them all. And that was a taunt. I'm not quite sure why they taunted me. Either they wanted to fight one-on-one or just thought it looked cool. Something to be nitpicky about, actually. Or wait, no, never mind. Not enough time. I'll see you in the next episode